You're listening to WTUR 89.7 FM. I'm Josh Johnson, and this is a segment we like to call Getting to Know You, the Student Body President Candidates. I'm here with one of the finalists, Jordan Bolte from Penthouse here today. Jordan, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for inviting me again.
Now, the debates were on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel those went?
I think they went really well, actually. I thought that all the candidates did a really good job, and I thought that everybody was good at answering questions. There were some guys that were more definite in their answers than others, but I feel like we all gave it our best, and I think that it was a really, really good experience for all of us.
Did you ever feel uneasy or uncertain about, did you ever hear a question and you're like, oh no, I have to answer this?
No.
Or, okay.
Not really.
You're pretty prepared.
Yeah, I'm prepared, and also I'm pretty natural in front of crowds.
Okay.
So...
Oh yeah, you used to singing, all that kinds of stuff. So public speaking didn't really throw you off.
No, it didn't bother me at all. So standing up there and having questions thrown at me, I've thought of the questions or of probable questions at length. I mean, that's what you do when you make a platform.
Yeah.
Try and find the holes in that. So with that said, I got up there and pretty much answered things that I already knew the answers to.
All right.
I felt like.
So did you prepare with this? Would you call them your campaign advisors?
Campaign managers.
Managers. All right. Did they ask you questions, or did you just?
No, they didn't actually ask me questions. It was good because we organized a meeting for my campaign last Tuesday, and a bunch of people came, and we basically had a little mini, not necessarily debate, but I told them about my platform, and then I asked for questions to say where are holes that you see or what are ways that this can be improved. So I had already been asked questions by students and actually by faculty. So with that said, the debates were just another one of those.
So it gave you a general idea of what to expect.
Of questions, and people took notes and gave me critiques. And so it's not just been my views about this. There's been a lot of people involved, which has been really good.
All right, so I heard there was a pretty good turnout there at the Union the other night. I was listening here in the studio. I wasn't not supporting the student body president candidates.
It's fine.
I was just doing my job back here. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. There was probably 30, 35 people that showed up.
Okay.
There was a couple teachers. There were seniors, freshmen, juniors, sophomores. I mean, the whole grouping of the student body came. So that was really good. And we invited the Fort Wayne campus, which was a good step in bridging that gap, I think, showing them that we're actually concerned in what they think about our student body and what they think about the campus. So I got a ton of encouraging emails saying, sorry we can't make it, but we want to be there, and thank you for caring. So I was really encouraged by that night, and it was a blast, actually.
All right, now, were there any questions that you would have liked to hear? Did you set yourself up for any answers, or was it just, I'm Jordan Bolte, I'll answer what you ask me?
Pretty much. It was anything that you want to say, any comments, rude remarks, anything. So thankfully there were no rude remarks, and it was just informal, and it was people asking actual concerns that they had about my platform and saying, there's a hole that I see, and what do you actually think about this? And sometimes I'd stand up there and I say, I haven't thought about that, thank you, and now I will add that into my platform, and it will continue to develop. And so it was more of a learning experience for me than for other people, I felt like.
Okay. Now, when it came down to voting time, primary, did that get you a little nervous at all? You didn't lose any sleep over it or anything? You were just...
Nah, my whole view of this whole process has been, if God wants it to happen, if he wants me to become student body president, then I'm just going to do it to the best of my ability, and then once something's out of my hands, there's no point in fretting over it.
Right.
Because, there's no point.
Right.
So, I didn't lose any sleep. I was completely cool.
Okay.
If people came up to me and said, hey, I voted for this other candidate. And I was like, okay, sweet, good. Just glad you voted. So it was a little weird that people come up to me and say, hey, I didn't vote for you.
Yeah, just trying to get a rise out of you or something
good.
Like that. I don't know.
I'm glad you... Thanks.
So if you look at the election as a whole right now, what would you say the hardest part of it has been so far?
I'd say the hardest part of it has been probably getting communication with as many people as possible. I have my platform, and I think it's good, and other people think it's good, but there still are other people on the campus that don't know about it, and they aren't involved, and trying to get as many people as possible involved. You saw that in the amount of people that voted. there wasn't the entire campus never votes, and the most that I think they've ever had has been 1,000 students, which then still leaves 800.
Yeah.
And so just I've been frustrated with how, I guess, static the students have been throughout this process. But it's encouraging to see that there are students that are wanting to have a good impact and to promote change. So I'm excited to be joining in with them to try and promote good change.
All right. Now, let's look at your platform a little bit. What would you say the largest, what would you say is the focal point of the whole thing?
My personal focal point, not vocal point, focal point is the broadening perspectives part of my platform, because anytime someone has their perspectives broadened, it encourages conversation and it encourages growth. So that's my personal focal point. I think that the most ambitious part of my platform is trying to reassess programming at Taylor in the student level and the campus community aspect of my platform. But ultimately, I think that you can't just have, if I ran just on campus community or if I ran just on broadening perspectives, then I think that it would fall on its face, because I think you need that. You need the campus community, corporate spirituality, and the broadening perspectives to all hold each other up to have a positive student government experience, I think.
All right, now looking at things that you plan to do if you are elected, what is, if you had to choose one thing that you wanted to accomplish, what would that be?
Probably I would like to encourage more involvement in the programming at Taylor. I'd like to see students that are apathetic in their dorms, that sit there and don't do anything, to then have a passion for something and get involved in some way. And that means then, raising the awareness so that students do know where they can get involved, or it means bringing in different speakers with different perspectives so that they can see things that they can be passionate about, or even just having God put a passion in their heart by joining together as a campus and worshiping. So with all that said, I think that getting the students involved is what I want to try and do the most.
All right. Now, is there anything that you have planned that wouldn't get done during your time in office, per se? That would just really be something that people after you would have to carry on?
There are things that are in place that I would like to try and encourage, such as I'd like to try and get a census of the campus, just so that we can have people say, this is the stuff that we're concerned about, and this is the stuff that we care about as students. And that's something that's actually really easy to continue, and that would far outlast me, and it would far outlast everybody that's here right now if it was implemented well. And then each semester you'd know what the student body actually cared for and was concerned about, which I think is really healthy. It's basically a way to check the pulse of the student body, and I think that there hasn't been that much of that, just seeing what we actually care about, which is something that is really